The St. Joseph's Hawks took UConn into overtime and unfortunately came away short, 89-81 the final. Hello and welcome inside our Campus Insider studios. I am Shea Pepler, and joining me to discuss St. Joe's in more detail is the voice of the Hawks and our insider, Matt Martucci. And Matt, heartbreaking loss in OT for the Hawks. What was the message from head coach Phil Martelli?
Well, Shea, afterwards, Phil Martelli sat the guys down, basically a room full of about 25 or 30 people back at the team's hotel, the Adams Mark here in Buffalo, and the message was just how proud of him he was and how much he loves these guys. And it wasn't because of the success of the Atlantic 10 title run. He said it was because of the process, because of the 4 years that most of these guys have gone through. And Halil Kanasevic, the exception, having gone through 3. But overall, just very proud of the result and proud of not even so much the basketball players that these guys have become, but the human beings that they've become. Right now, 2 of them have already graduated. The other 3 are expected to graduate on time. They'll walk away with degrees from St. Joseph's. And as Phil Martelli stated, even a little bit better at basketball coming out.
Yeah, what a heartfelt note from Coach Martelli. Well, the Hawks played tough, but their senior forward, Halil Kanasevic, fouled out early in OT. Do you believe that was the turning point in the game, Matt? What happened there late?
Well, Shea, I think you could say that was. I think the one that's even more overriding is probably the end of regulation, where the Hawks have a chance to get a loose ball, and Amita Brima, the big man off the bench for UConn, ends up picking it up and ends up getting a big three-point play. He was only a 57% free throw shooter, but he bears down and looked like he'd been shooting free throws all day and ends up tying that game. So that was one. The second one, I think, was Langston Galloway's last shot in regulation, where he didn't quite get a good handle on the ball at the end, kind of had to fire one at the basket that ended up being a shot clock violation and ended up eventually sending the game into overtime. I think this game had to be won in regulation, and unfortunately the Hawks couldn't do that tonight.
Yeah, well, opening things up now, Matt. Dayton upset Ohio State. St. Joe's took UConn down to the wire, and then St. Louis topped NC State in a thriller. What can you say about the strength of the A-10 so far in the tournament?
Well, the strength of this conference, I think, confirms what most of us in the Atlantic 10 knew, that this is a high-level league, and that this was a team that was deserving of 6 NCAA bids. I mean, you just said it. 2 wins out of the 3 teams that end up competing today, and then, of course, GW, VCU, UMass, still all on the docket tomorrow. So what it tells us is that this is a league that was worthy of the 6 spots that it received. And I can't remember. There was some head coach. He's got a pretty good reputation, a couple national titles. He might have said that the Atlantic 10 didn't deserve those 6 bids. I think some of those teams may have made him put his foot in his mouth a little bit. I can't remember who it was, though, Shea.
We won't name names here, all right? Matt Martucci, our St. Joe's insider, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Shea.
And be sure to keep it locked on CI throughout the NCAA tournament for Who's Got Next, where our Jordan Cornette will discuss future tournament matchups. It's all right here on CampusInsiders.com.